Good day everyone! Welcome sa panibago nating tutorial series. So this is System Administration and Maintenance series. This is part 1 and for today we are going to talk about Windows Server 2019 Administration Essentials. If you are new to the server system and you have joined this video to learn about Windows servers, it is very important to understand the foundations first, and as a beginner you might have a question in mind: what is a server? So what is a server? Let's just start the definition with a real life example. When I started to learn IT mind structure and I needed some learning materials, the instructor was always asking for floppy drive, and that's how he was transferring the training materials for me, and he did not have any other way. And technology has changed a lot today. You can access information from anywhere, anytime. If I give you all the time example, when we only had client machines, there was no server in place. At the time, how we were transferring information from one computer to another, from one business unit to another business unit, we were using floppy drive, another storage types that were so slow, and then we had a really small capacity for those storage. In this picture, if you can see, there are two standalone machines, both are local, and there is no networking done. Files are stored locally into these machines, meaning if the system is crashed, most probably you will lose everything. If I want to transfer a file into my friend's computer, I will have to copy it into flash drive and take it to him, and then have him copy it. Same example will apply for a printer, and since I don't have a printer, I will have to copy my files into a flash drive, take it to him, and then have him print it for me. These are really going to be challenging if you are working for a business and you all have to use this process in order to show or share information in order to print different files that you have to write. There should be a centralized system in place to serve us by providing different services. There it comes the server to help us remove those challenges and work as a centralized system and provide us various kind of services. Email, file, print, and web servers are common examples. Email servers provides us email services, for example Gmail, Hotmail, Yahoo, and all other email providers are running thousands of servers in a place called data center. And that's how we are sending and receiving emails, and that is where we are storing all of our emails. Mail server are very common type of application server. It receives emails sent to a user and store them until requested by a client on behalf of said user. Having an email server allows of a single machine to be properly configured and attached to the network at all times. It is then ready to send and receive messages rather than requiring every client machine to have its own email subsystem continuously running. File servers provide file and sharing services in your computer. And if you have hundreds of users and they want to share information with each other, you can have file server as a centralized system and configure permissions based on your needs. Centrally storing files offers easier backup or fault-tolerant solutions than attempting to provide security and integrity for files on every device in an organization. File server hardware can be designed to maximize read and write speeds to improve performance. Print servers allow for the management and distribution of printing functionality rather than attaching a printer to every workstation. A single print server can respond to print requests for numerous clients. Today, some larger and high-end printers come with their own built-in print server, which removes the need of an additional computer-based print server. This internal print server also functions by responding to print requests from a client. So, print server provides a centralized printing services where you can have one or two powerful printers installed and everyone can print from the printers you specified. When it comes to operating system server like Windows XP, Windows 7, Windows 8, and Windows 10, they are called client operating system, which you install in a desktop or in a laptop. Windows Server 2008, 2012, 2016, and today 2019 are specially designed for servers. And if you installed client operating system like Windows 10 in a server, it is completely waste of money and it will not fulfill your needs. So in this picture, as you can see here, that we have a small data center, and this is an example that I got from the internet, and you can see here we have different equipments used in this data center. We have switches, as you can see here that we have servers, and we have like different cabling done in here, and you can see these are different switches, and we might have a storage area network, and then this is how a small data center will look like. So in summary, as a technology has evolved, the definition of a server has evolved with it. These days, a server may be nothing more than software running on one or more physical computing devices, such as servers are often referred to as virtual servers. Originally, virtual servers were used to increase the number of server functions as a single hardware server could do. Today, virtual servers are often run by third-party on hardware across the internet in an arrangement called cloud computing. A server may be designed to do single tasks such as email server, which accepts and stores an email and then provides it to a requesting client. Servers may also perform several tasks, such a file and print server, which both stores files and accepts print jobs from clients and then sends them onto a network attached printer. So how do I buy a perfect server hardware? Let's say it is the first day of your work as a system admin and your manager tapped you in your shoulder and then he said, "Hey, welcome. I'm really happy that you are here and I have some work for you." Your manager mentioned that they are trying to implement Exchange Server 2016 and they want you to help them buying a perfect server. He also mentioned that it should be meet their requirements and should be affordable. So in this chapter, I'll show you how can you choose a perfect server based on the scenario, and then you also have considered that when purchasing server, there are various factors that you may want to consider, for example, cost. If your manager says we are looking for something around $4,000 and then he said there are like operating system requirements, so if you are installing server 2019, the server 2019 will have its own system requirements, as well as if you are installing an application which is Exchange server, he will have their own hardware requirements. After that, the size of server you are buying, like what shape of a server you need. Are you gonna have a server that is going to be mounted in a rack, or it is going to be simple server like a desktop shape? So those are the things that you will be considering. I will be demonstrating how to purchase a server for your Exchange ad running on a server 2019. And your homework is to find a perfect HP server for file server services and share the results with me. So we will be looking at Dell Weather and then you will be looking at HP. So the very first thing that I will be looking is the requirements. So it is always a good idea that when you choose or you are planning to buy a server, you have a Excel spreadsheet and then you put your comparisons in there and then do your calculation. So as you can see here, I have Windows Server 2019 system requirements, and then here, if you read throughout this document, you can see the processor, RAM, storage, and then network. So if I look into the processor, the requirement is 1.4 gigahertz and it should be 64-bit processor. So if you are buying a 32-bit processor, it's not gonna work. And then you can see that it should be compatible with 64-bit instruction set, and there are some other details written in here. And 2 gig RAM is the recommended. If you are using a graphic user interface, meaning it's not Power Edition, which is command line. So most of the time, we also always use the graphic user interface. So I will go on with 2 GB as minimum, and then the storage controller, you can see that the minimum space is 32 GB. And then the adapter should at least be gigabyte throughout and throughput. So most of the modern servers that you buy, that actually comes with gigabyte ports, so that should not be a problem. And it should be compliant by a PCI Express. So that is the requirement for your server operating system, and I will just write all these specifications down, and then based on that, I will do my calculation. Another thing is Exchange Server 2016. You can see that Exchange Server 2016 have the requirements of Server 2012 standard or above. And then when it comes to memory, you can see that if you are using this server as a mailbox role and then X transport role, both of them installed together in one server. it is 8 plus 4 equals 12. So basically what I do is I always go with maximum. So I had the minimum. What I will do is I will double it. 8 plus 8 equals 16. So 4 plus 4 equals 8. So total like 16 plus 8, it will be 24. So 24 GB, and then for my server is 2 GB, a total of 26 GB. And then also, I will say the minimum that you will go with is 32 for your server. If you can make it 64 GB, that is the best to have a better performance, because always double the hardware requirements, like the double the memory. It makes sure that the processor is like little higher, because the servers like Exchange server, they require to be, or I can say that they consume more processor RAM, because they are providing services to your users all the time. And then the very last thing that you will do is, once you have your requirement gathered like 64 GB of RAM, and then like the other processor requirement, that the last thing that you will do is you will actually go and start selecting the server for you. And you can also see that it requires that it should be NTFS RAID 1 is recommended. So when I go to Dell website, you can see that I can click on products, but I am not buying laptops. So basically, I look into servers and the storage. And then once I click here, you can see that I do have a Dell EMC servers, storage, and networking in here. As we mentioned, different sizes and shapes, so we are going to install it in a rack. So I can click on rack. So this is the different shapes, and you are getting in here. And then 1 socket, 2 socket, 4 socket. You can see there like doubled, like 1U, 2U, 4U. This is how much space it will be consuming, and they are designed for like high processing maximum of performance, and it will meet the demand. So there are different models of the servers. You can see that these are the different models that you can click on, and then it will give you the specifications on that. And then once you click there, you can see that we have tech specification and memory. You can see that this is how much it supports, like this is up to, meaning the maximum memory that it can support. And then RAM, you can see that different RAM slots we got in here. And we do have some other back ports light. This is another important thing. And if you have come down, you can see different storage options like 112 TB or terabyte. So basically, we are getting a lot of customizations in here. We can upgrade and we can have more and more things in here. So the best thing that I always do is I always click in here, and then I either call them or I either chat with them, and then I tell them that, hey, I'm looking for example for Dell R740, and then I'm looking for this much of specification. I can get a code, then how much it's gonna cost. So they can answer by chat, or you can give them a call, and then they will actually reply back. And then that's how you can get your quotation. And very good thing is that you can give them your requirement, and then tell them that, hey, my budget is $4,000, and this is what I am looking for, and if you can help me find the server. So that's how you can actually get a quotation and you can buy a perfect server. But the main important thing is that you always look into system requirement. Make sure that it is going to fit your needs. And then when I say double the hardware, what I mean here is that you will not run into problems in future, so you can basically scale up in future, meaning if you have more and more users, more and more traffic and use of that server, you will not have any issues. So your homework is to find me a perfect server for file server services, but it should be a HP server, and the price that I am going to give you is 3,000 only. Ayan. So that's it for this video, and sana may natutunan kayo about system administration and maintenance. At kung may mga katanungan kayo, you can chat or email me. So see you on the next video.